Welcome to the project. Tonight, the investigation into what could have been Australia's worst terror attack continues. So how close did we come to disaster?
Does President Trump's face deserve a place on Mount Rushmore? The call to carve out some space for his presidential smile.
Plus, they are the trailblazers of Aussie hip-hop. We chat with urban titans, our very own Bliss and Esso.
And the survey that has ranked Aussies as some of the most polite drivers in the world. It sounds like none of the people surveyed have shared the road with Georgie, Turbo Tunny.
We are live from the lands of the Kulin Nation. Back with us tonight, Nick Cody!
Good to see you too, mate.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a bit too fast, too furious out on those
Oh,
streets.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the tunny is. Actually, that's just a front. It's T for turbo.
It's T for
You were
turbo,
right.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure. Yeah, more to be revealed later on in the programme. Let's get into today's top stories first, though. And Australia's terror threat level remains at probable tonight as the investigation into a suspected anti-Semitic terror plot continues. ASIO says it doesn't believe there's an ongoing threat to public safety. As yet, no charges have been laid. A man and a woman who police say are on the, quote, periphery of the investigation remain in custody over unrelated matters. They've been linked to a social media post asking if anyone had a caravan for sale.
We have time to put that, to glean that evidence and put that together, and we will take that time and we will prefer charges if they're warranted.
Divers are searching for survivors after a commuter plane and an Army Black Hawk helicopter collided in midair and crashed into Washington DC's icy Potomac River. The plane carrying 64 people was trying to land at Ronald Reagan Airport. 3 crew were on the Black Hawk. Police at the scene say more than a dozen bodies have been recovered.
She texted me that they were landing in 20 minutes. I'm just praying that somebody's pulling her out of the river right now as we speak.
Wow. And it sounds like Greg Norman is again donning his hat as a diplomatic golfing go-between. He's reportedly been asked to help build some bridges between the Australian government and President Donald Trump. Norman hasn't revealed who asked him to reach out, but says the results have been positive so far. He's also joined the board planning the 2032 Brisbane Olympic and Paralympic Games.
And it seems Aussies are pretty well mannered behind the wheel. A new survey has ranked Australians as the 4th most polite drivers in the world. New Zealanders were ranked 2nd, behind those in Cyprus.
Wow.
They won. Drivers in Turkey came in 3rd. Those in Portugal were 5th.
Yeah.
Now, look, sometimes I do
Turbo, sorry. The floor is for turbo.
Yeah.
Look, I would actually, though, consider myself quite a polite driver, and sometimes that's when I get into trouble, when I'm a little bit too polite. I'm not assertive enough, and I'll just be there being like, you go, I'll go. No, you keep going, you go.
Yeah.
What you're missing, Sam, is it was polite drivers, not good drivers.
Right. So I think being a bad driver is the rudest thing you could ever do.
Apparently.
I often get, like, too big for my boots. Like, someone will cut me off and I'm on the horn and I'm feeling good about myself. And the minute they look at me, I turn into the tiniest boy of all time. I'm like, no, please. And I get quite scared. I can't back it up.
So you use the horn a lot?
I love a horn.
Is this why...
Yeah. I'm a big horn user. And then I found out you can break it.
What?
You can use the horn too much.
What do you mean?
And it'll blow out. You can blow out a horn, which is now my new life goal.
So there are countries like Egypt, for example, where the horn is so constant.
Yes.
They must have broken it. I got in a taxi in Cairo once, and the horn default setting was on. And when he pressed it, it went off. That's how it worked.
Oh, my gosh.
That is a world
And it made no difference.
Yeah, still top 5 most polite drivers. Now, it's hard to believe it's been 3 years since Lismore and the New South Wales Northern Rivers region were hit by devastating floods. Locals are still trying to rebuild their lives, and that's where former cricketers Adam Gilchrist, Jason Gillespie and Powderfingers Bernard Fanning and Grinspoon's Pat Deverne
legendary
come
cricketers.
in. They're all taking part in a star-studded fundraising cricket match to help raise much-needed recovery funds.
And here to tell us more, it's Gilly!
Amazing.
Hey, guys. Always great to see you, mate. How much does this match mean to you?
Yeah, good to see you guys and chat. It means a great deal. It's my hometown. It's where I moved there in 1984, so I had all my high school years there. And up until about 6 months ago, it's where my family home, where my parents had been for 40 years. So a lot of mates there. I know the mayor quite well, Steve Krigg, and we got together a couple of years ago just to come up with a civic event, really. It was 12 months post these devastating scenes that you're looking at here. Just something to congratulate the community on their resilience, their ability to get through this sort of natural disaster and push forward. So there's a rebuild that's still taking place. A lot of love and support comes in the immediate aftermath of these devastating events, but really it's a 10-year project to try and rebuild Lismore. Already the local government, through support from state and federal government, have rebuilt buildings up to the tune of $80 million, and they're being built in a flood-resilient way and manner, so they learn as they go along. But there's about $1.5 billion worth of roads and infrastructure that need fixing up as well. So we want to have this civic event. It's not so much about fundraising, but again, giving the community something to say, well done, and let's celebrate what a great community we are and how resilient we are, but also just let everyone know that it's still going on and we still need a lot of support.
Well, Gilly, it's also a pretty impressive lineup that you're putting together. I mean, there's yourself, there's Dizzy Gillespie, Casper's there, and Bernard Fanning from Powderfinger. But how does it all work? Like, how do you get to pick your team?
Yeah, well, it's my 11 versus Steve Krigg, the mayor. He picks his 11 and he gets first crack at it. He gets first dibs on the players, and it was a bit one-sided a couple of years ago, but I think we held on for a draw. But I am definitely bagsing Bernard Fanning. He is definitely in my team. I know Pat from Grinspoon's there, but sorry, Bernie's on my team. We've been sharing cricket anecdotes and shared experiences. I sat next to Bernard Fanning, right? We were sitting together when Peter Siddle got a birthday hat-trick back in 2013, I reckon. So we hugged and kissed each other, and we'll be doing the same when we win this game.
Now, I know it's for a good cause, Gilly, but will there still be sledging?
Nick, definitely, most definitely. There's, mate, I copped it from the mayor last time I was up there, but no, it's a great event. We also get a lot of locals involved. A couple of my old schoolmates played. We had some young female cricketers from the area, Georgia Redmayne and Sammy Jo Johnson. They played for the Brisbane Heat in the Women's Big Bash. And there's a young fella, Cooper Williams. He's a real hot shot. He's captain of the state under-15 team, and he played last time when he was about 12, and he's going to be firing again on this occasion.
Oh, wow. The road to the next Ashes starts there. For more information, head to our website. In the meantime, would you please thank Adam Gilchrist?
What a legend. Guys, an electronics factory in Melbourne went up in flames this morning, and while it looked very dramatic, look at those scenes, not everyone in the community is taking it as seriously as I am.
Describe to us what happened this morning.
Okay, so just as a normal day, customers dropping their cars off nice and early. A customer has actually walked in and said, what's cooking?
Well, judging by that smoke, I reckon it was asbestos, but not that good an answer. But look, that guy wasn't the only person not taking it seriously, because I think the endorphins from some swimming classes were kicking in when this woman spoke to the news.
Do I look like Elle Macpherson?
You look great. What goes through your head when you see that and you're obviously a bit shocked?
Oh, we just hope that the wind doesn't come in our direction because we don't want to evacuate. We're all in our bathers. It wouldn't be very glamorous running through. Sorry.
I haven't seen a woman in a driver's seat that scattered since I got a lift home with Turbo Tunny.
Hey, we're going to take a break, but we'll be right back.
Welcome back to the program.
Now, it's been almost 20 years since Eat, Pray, Love taught us how to live our best lives. And now the author behind the global best-selling memoir is bringing her life-changing wisdom to Aussie shores through a transformative speaking tour. Would you please welcome Elizabeth Gilbert?
Hey! Hi, everybody.
Well, Elizabeth, we've noticed that you've actually got a new hairdo since you were last on our show. I know with me, at least, big hair changes usually signify either a big life change or I'm in trouble, please check on me. Which is it for you?
You know, I've been dreaming about shaving my head for years, and I think I finally just got the courage last year. And I just thought, like, I'll tell you the truth. I went to an event. I'm 55 years old. I saw a bunch of people there. All the guys my age had shaved heads and looked like they had easy lives, and all the women had complicated, expensive hair. And I just thought, why am I still doing this? I'm going to claim the same privilege as these like hot silver fox 55-year-old dudes, and I'm going to shave my head. And I haven't looked back since. I think I'm just going to keep it this way. I like it.
Really rubbing it in the bald guys' faces.
Thank you. So shout out to the bald guys. I'm emulating your look because I think it's very chic.
While we're here, would you recommend it For Georgie.
Oh, yes.
For me? Now, Elizabeth, you've got a lovely bone structure. I'm a bit of a moon face, so just keep that in mind.
Oh, I got to tell you, once you've done it, you'll never want hair again.
Oh, perfect. We've actually got it right.
Wow.
Next week.
Okay, I can't confirm anything, Molly.
I've got a razor right here, Tony. Do we do it?
By the end of the show.
Yeah. Now, Elizabeth, Eat, Pray, Love, it was first published in 2006, and it's kind of become like a verb now. My girlfriend, for example, whenever we go for like a weekend away, she's like, I'm eat, pray, loving.
Yes.
Like, are you aware of like how kind of ingrained into everyday vernacular it's become?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that I think about it. We didn't used to have a term for this, right?
Yeah.
It's not that women never traveled alone before Eat, Pray, Love, or that women never got divorced before Eat, Pray, Love, or that women never had spiritual journeys before Eat, Pray, Love. But we didn't have this kind of catch-all term where if a woman said, I'm having my own Eat, Pray, Love, we all know exactly what that means. So I just feel happy that my life has somehow become like the term for a thing that perhaps already existed but needed a name.
Well, it's certainly better than my one, drink, forget to eat, pass out.
You don't forget to eat.
Certainly not. I'm all eat, eat, eat.
Now, you encourage us to uncover our strange jewels. Now,
Not you, Sam.
Not me,
you.
yes. I've been told not to involve them
Not
before.
around a school, definitely.
Okay. What, I mean,
Good to know.
I'm making a note right there. But what does it mean, Elizabeth?
That's a line from my favorite poet, whose name is Jack Gilbert and is no relation to me. But I met somebody who once took a writing class from him, and he thought she had a lot of talent. And he said to her one day, the universe has buried strange jewels within you. Do you have the courage to find them? And I feel like it's one of the most inspiring lines I've ever heard somebody say, especially to a young person, because it does take an enormous amount of courage to go on an inner exploration and find out what's in there that might be unusual, creative, or mysterious. So, yeah, I'm all about that.
Well, you've helped so many people already just in this interview. Sam covering up, Georgie shaving her head. It's just been a tour de force already. Imagine the evening with Elizabeth Gilbert. Details for where you can find tickets for that are on our website. Would you please thank Elizabeth Gilbert?
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. This was fun. See you next time.
A delight. Yeah.
Why did you bring a razor to the desk?
No, I meant to say clippers, Waleed.
Why did you bring clippers to the
You don't know, I've actually got quite a lot of stuff down here. Yeah. It's just a like little...
You live under here.
Yeah. I'm struggling a lot, you know, so I sleep here at Channel 10.
Carry a blade.
Guys, let's go to the US, right? We love America. Senator Chuck Schumer held a press conference today, and it sounds like, I don't know a lot about politics, but it sounds like people are kind of up and about.
Go to your local official, your local congressman, your local senator, and have them get to the president. But the roots of democracy are deep. People are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
I guess, yeah, those deep roots of democracy. I'm going to Google them after this.
Thank you. Let's go to Radio. See you soon. Back, what's in the project?
It was Mount Rushmore. It's the big mountain with a bunch of American presidents on it. But did you know it's not a naturally occurring feature? What? I know. Someone actually had to go and carve them there. It's incredible. Now, Donald Trump's supporters reckon it's time to add a fifth face to the lineup, and you'll never guess whose face they think. Meet Donald John Trump.
You know, it could get worse before it gets better.
His haters think he belongs on a mountain. His followers think he belongs on a mountain.
So if you did the 250th anniversary of the country at Mount Rushmore with President Trump's face, it would be epic.
Barely a week into Donald's latest presidency, there are already calls to carve out some space for him on Mount Rushmore, with hearty endorsements for the idea heard everywhere, from super right-wing TV shows...
Hey, there's room up there. I think it'd be great.
...to super right-wing podcasts.
Go put Donald Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. Let's get it done.
And one Florida congresswoman agrees, tweeting...
I've officially introduced legislation to put President Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. Let's get carving.
Well, Trump's got billionaire donors who I'm sure would stump up the cash. The question is whether the American people really want this.
Mount Rushmore has long been a site of controversy. The mountain is deeply sacred to Native Americans, who called it six grandfathers. But in 1877, the government broke its treaty with the Sioux people, took the land, renamed the mountain Rushmore after some lawyer, then carved a bunch of white people into it. The Sioux sued, were awarded about $3.2 billion in today's money, but refused the cash, saying all they wanted was the mountain back. It's a fight that continues today, even as the landmark sees 2.4 million visitors annually, including tourists, holidaymakers, and New York ad execs on the run from foreign spy rings.
What do we do?
Climb down. Well, people tend to make a very big deal about Mount Rushmore, but it's basically a tourist trap. It's America's big banana or giant pineapple. There's no other reason to go to South Dakota except for Mount Rushmore.
But this whole debate may be moot. A top engineering firm says the mountain simply cannot withstand another face being carved into it. That's woke mountains for you. More like Wokeback Mountain, am I right? Okay, I'm being told I'm not right. So, if there's not enough structural integrity to add a new face, why not just give a facelift to one of the ones that's already there and turn it into Trump? And before you're all like, you can't erase Franklin Roosevelt, he was such a great president, guess what? That's actually Teddy Roosevelt, and you didn't even realise. In case you're thinking there's no way Donald would be interested in this, he's too preoccupied with solving the issues facing the American people. Well, reports suggest his head has been on his mind for some time.
The president has been telling Kristi Noem, who's the governor of South Dakota, that he wants to be added to Mount Rushmore. She realized pretty fast he was serious about it.
There you have it. He believes he should be on Mount Rushmore.
The fake news media will say he believes he should be on Mount Rushmore.
Well, okay, he nailed that prediction. They should put him on Mount Rushmore.
He just wants people to talk about the idea. He likes to compare himself to Lincoln. He'd like to be on the mountain.
So if this is all fake, have we reached peak Donald? Or is it real? And we may soon literally reach peak Donald. Incredible. Yeah, it's a big investigation. Yeah, I think it'd be cool. It'd be nice to have, you know, maybe potentially the last president of America up there.
We need an answer to this sort of thing.
What could we do?
No, but we're too tall poppy syndrome, so we wouldn't put our best ones up on a mountain. We'd put our worst ones in the Kalgoorlie super pit.
Nicholas, this is a great idea.
The Kalgoorlie super pit is incredible. Say what you will about mining, but that's grouse. All right, erosion would have taken ages to make that. That is a man-made grouse hole.
Who do we pop in there? Whoever, it doesn't matter.
Who are your worst ones? I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe Harold Holt's in there. Have we looked? It's a big hole. I want to have a look.
Imagine going swimming and coming up in that.
The investigations never end.
Crazy, isn't it? Wow.
We're going to go to a break. See you soon. Tonight, 2 people are behind bars and a home has been raided as the investigation into an explosives-laden caravan in Sydney continues. What could have been the worst terror attack Australia has ever seen, narrowly avoided as police race for answers.
This would have been the most significant terrorist attack and loss of life in our country's history.
A potential mass casualty event, which is chilling, which is disturbing.
The last few months have been like a living nightmare.
A chilling escalation, labelled terrorism by our leaders.
It's designed to create fear and terror in the community.
Police yet to make that call as disturbing new details emerged about an abandoned caravan discovered by a local on the side of a road in Dural in Sydney's northwest on January 19th. Inside, power gel explosives, strong enough to create a 40-metre blast.
They are almost exclusively used in the mining industry.
No detonator was found, but there was a note with the address of a synagogue and key Jewish targets, as well as the words, the Jews.
Anybody who happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time can be a victim.
Police and the PM today defending their decision to keep the discovery secret.
The fact that this information is now in the public domain has compromised our investigation.
I don't comment on operational matters.
The Jewish community angry that they were left in the dark.
There's no fear that is greater than the fear of the unknown, and that actually adds to the panic and in some cases even hysteria, and that just plays right into the hands of the perpetrators of these crimes.
2 people who police say are on the periphery of their caravan probe had already been arrested under Strike Force Pearl, which is currently investigating 15 alleged attacks across Sydney. Just last night, 2 homes, a shopping centre and a school were defaced with anti-Semitic graffiti.
Do you agree somehow this has got to stop because it's gotten out of control?
Of course I agree that anti-Semitism has to stop. Full stop. People are being arrested, they're being charged, and they're in the clink without release. That is occurring.
Terrified communities fearful the next attack might find its target.
People are really, really scared in this moment.
There's frustration at the seeming inability of the authorities to bring this under control, and there's anger about that as well.
Joining us now is terrorism expert Greg Barton. Greg, they've said the explosives here were enough to create a 40-metre blast zone. Just how different is this to anything we've seen before in this country?
Well, it's completely different from anything we've seen in Australia, but even you think back to the Islamic State Caliphate attacks in France and across Europe, we saw homemade explosives, TATP. We didn't see mining-grade explosives like this, nothing so powerful. So this is pretty unusual outside conflict zones to see this stuff.
So you mentioned mining-grade explosives there. The police are saying they're actually exclusively used in mining. I mean, what does the fact that they could get hold of explosives like this tell us about them?
It tells us it's probably organised criminals that have done this. It's really hard to penetrate the supply chain and storage security. This stuff is so dangerous that it's really kept very secure, and we don't normally hear of it getting into public hands. So not any sort of petty con or some extremist who has an idea would get hold of it. It would take organised criminal links, I think.
Right, Greg, because that element there, the organised criminals, that's what I'm interested in, because we were hearing last week as well about organised crime potentially being involved in anti-Semitic attacks more broadly. If that does turn out to be the case then, and with this one, how should that change how police and government are responding?
Well, it just compounds the problem, doesn't it? I mean, we do have a problem with growing hate, including anti-Semitism. We have to own that. But AFP is saying they're investigating the possibility of offshore foreign actors in terms of even nation states and their security agencies trying to undermine confidence in Australian democracy. We've certainly seen that happening across the Northern Hemisphere. That may be a factor here. It may be something domestic. But the fact that people could be motivated just by the greed of money and not some deep sense of conviction about a cause in some ways just broadens and makes things worse because it's another level of complexity to deal with.
I think it's important to note as well that ASIO, they hardly ever speak out, but they made a point today to say that there's no ongoing threat to public safety and they're not going to raise that terror threat level. What will their reasoning behind that be?
Well, when they first discovered this caravan, and of course this comes in the wake of a series of investigations about anti-Semitic attacks, they would have been checking communication channels, looking at known suspects, trying to figure out who was behind this. And clearly from what they're saying publicly, and they sort of put the reputation on the line here, they're confident that there's no one else involved, there's no other networks, there's sort of no plan B that is ready to kick into action. So that's a big call, but it's really reassuring to hear it from them.
Is that why, though, if it's that kind of investigation, the complexity of it and so on, is that why the police seem kind of upset that this has become public?
Yeah, it's a good point, Wally. I mean, any ongoing investigation, but particularly a really serious one like this, you want the element of surprise. You want to surveil people without them knowing what you know. And, of course, something like this being leaked out now, it tips people off. Hopefully it's been enough time past that they've done that heavy lifting and the investigation work, but it obviously makes their job harder.
Greg, thank you very much for speaking to us. It's always very insightful.
Thanks very much, Wally.
Got some more news now, and slain gangland figure and boxer Sam the Punisher Abdul Rahim has been farewelled in a golden casket in Melbourne today. Hundreds of mourners gathered to support the family of the 32-year-old who was gunned down in a daylight ambush 2 days ago. A motorbike guard of honour later led the hearse to a local cemetery.
And the latest Gen Z trend is micro-retiring. It's all about ensuring a better work-life balance. Gen Z says that mini retirements throughout your career allow you to make the most of being young, also able to focus on themselves and their mental health and have free time to spend with loved ones. Mental health is apparently hilarious.
When you said themselves, that was yeah.
Anyway, they're young, it's very funny.
And also, when you laugh at just hearing mental health, probably means you should have yours checked. But
mate, I've got a therapist on retainer, don't worry about it.
I think it's a great idea. You're only alive once.
Yeah.
You're dead forever. Have fun now.
Yeah.
What are you waiting to 75 for, to have a 3-day cruise? Yuck. Send it. Send it when you're young.
Yeah, but it's because when you're 75, that's when you're ready to enjoy a 3-day cruise.
Yeah.
Up until then, no one wants to be on the 3-day cruise.
I thought you were going to say that's when you can afford it, because
that's
I am
that's
all
true.
for this. But how Gen Z, how are you affording it? How are you, eking out that
There
time?
should be a government grant when you turn 18. They give you $500,000. And it's
we're sending
have a crack, right? Do what Nick Cody recommends, and then when it's done, you have to work till the day you die.
Reverse.
I'll take that under advisement.
No bad ideas in a
Reverse
brainstorm,
retirement.
guys. Guys, let's go to Adelaide, where a security guard has been prosecuted for carrying a baton while on the job. Now, opinion is divided, but this guy's support, I don't know what he does or where he came from, I think it goes a smidge too far.
How do you feel about security guards having batons?
I think it's a good idea. I reckon they should have guns as well, tasers.
Yeah, let's go further than that, huh? What about bazookas, tanks, nuclear codes? Last drinks, or I blow up the world? What do you reckon?
What about your razor?
Yeah, give him a razor.
We're up to a break, back soon. Welcome back, watching the project.
Now, life can change in an instant, but the family you're about to meet proves that with unwavering love, support, resilience and a solid serve of good humour, it's possible to rise above even the toughest challenges.
What was it about Dave that first caught your eye?
His arms. Obviously personality, but yeah, no, he had really nice muscly arms.
Clearly not my legs.
That is what we call foreshadowing.
Yeah.
15 years ago, British Navy sailors Claire and Dave first locked eyes.
Then I was getting deployed to the Middle East, so then what did you decide to do?
I changed my deployments over so I could stalk her out there.
Oh my God, this is a modern military romance.
Oh yeah.
It's a love story that's taken the couple across the globe, becoming Australian citizens and blessing them with two beautiful daughters. But the romance nearly came to a tragic end when the family was skiing in California in 2022.
And we went to go to the ski slopes for the first morning. And I had Anna on my hip on skis. It was her first time on snow. I had Isla between my legs on...
Can I be outside the room when Dave does this?
Of course.
I'm sorry, I just find it really hard. I just can't listen to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will leave and I'll come back when you're done.
Okay.
Yeah. Take a second. I'm good. Are you okay?
Yeah, no.
So you had Anna
on my right hip.
Yes.
And on skis. Isla on between my legs on skis, and they were 1 and 3 at the time. And we came across a road clearance machine, big 6-foot circular blades on the front of it. We slid towards them. It was downhill towards the machine. We slid, couldn't stop it. There was nowhere for the girls to go. So I put my left leg over my eldest daughter, who was between my legs, and I rolled my chest onto my youngest daughter. We entered the machine. And I lost my left leg above the knee immediately, and Isla shot through between the blades and did a rotation round in between the blades, thankfully. And Anna and I did a rotation round the blades and then got pinned underneath with Anna underneath me.
I can understand how Claire has had trouble even attempting to relive that kind of thing. Claire, are you okay to come back in?
Thank you.
How do you remember springing into action?
Well, my initial thought was that I'd lost all of my family. So then our youngest cried, and I went, I have someone to fight for.
Yeah.
So that's what sprung me into action. And then pulled my eldest out of the machine. And she is lucky that she was quite short at the time, and she actually fitted between the blades. I still don't know how she managed to survive, apart from Dave's actions as well, that obviously really helped. So I put her on the snowbank, went and got my youngest from underneath Dave, tried to speak to Dave and reassure him. At this point, I'd seen that he'd lost his left leg. I always say to Dave, I triaged it in the sense of, well, Dave's screwed, so I'm not going to him first. Yeah. Which is a horrible feeling to have with a family member. And I think you always prioritise children over your partner. You never hope to be in that situation. But I kind of did prioritise them over you.
While Anna emerged unscathed, Isla suffered broken legs and a fractured pelvis. Dave remained trapped and conscious for more than an hour as paramedics arrived.
They said to me, say goodbye to him. It's really unlikely you're going to see him alive.
What was that conversation?
It was very simple, actually. I think it was a case of I have to take the girls to the hospital. Isla needs surgery, but they're going to be okay. And it was like, I love you. And I think I remember you giving me a kiss and then going.
I think I said, you've done everything for the girls now. I have to help them.
Yeah.
I love you.
Paramedics worked to free Dave, but with every minute, his chances grew slimmer.
I can feel myself starting to fade. I feel like my heart rate's slowing down. I feel like my vision's narrowing. It's starting to sort of like, I'm starting to get sleepy.
Dave was freed and flown to a hospital 300 kilometres away in Reno, Nevada.
But I can just remember this one thing going through my head over and over again, which is like, I cannot die, because if I die, Claire will bring me back from the dead and then kill me all over again. Because like, yeah, she will just not stand for this. I can't do it to her.
The accident left Dave a double amputee, losing his left leg above the knee, his right leg below the knee. He also sustained a broken pelvis in 4 places, 6 fractured vertebrae and 3 broken ribs. Over the course of 17 days, Dave underwent 15 surgeries before being medevaced to Sydney, where he endured 10 more.
It's all about just trying to make the best version of myself for Claire and for the girls, so we can do the things that we want to do.
Is it mixed emotions in that, on the one hand, you're like, oh, wow, okay, there's this world for me. I can do things. But then you're still raging at the world that you lost?
I don't think so. Life throws road bumps all the time.
Nice work.
And I try and kind of put the accident behind, and it's like, okay, we have what we have, and we make the most of this.
When Dave isn't on mountain adventures with Claire and the kids, he's hard at work training for his first ever Invictus Games. Next month, he'll represent Australia in biathlon, Nordic skiing, swimming, and he's captain of our wheelchair rugby team too.
So it is a bit of a time commitment.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's about, what, 50,
and then I see
15
him
hours
every
a week?
second Sunday. Every second Sunday, he's mine.
Were there times where you didn't think that was going to be possible, or you actually never let it enter your mind?
No, there's always those points. It's just how long you want to dwell on them.
Are you going to do those two?
Yeah. 4 and 4.
How has your relationship changed?
No, I think we're definitely closer.
Yeah, I would say we're stronger.
And stronger from, not closer, just stronger.
Yeah, just stronger.
Let's
not push it too far.
We're definitely closer and stronger, having gone through all of this together. And it kind of forms that extra level of sort of bond.
Yeah, we've had some situations where we're like, how are we going to get this done? Or, like, it just feels impossible. And we've come away laughing from it. You can what if to things being better, but you can what if to things being worse. And we have said to each other so many times over the last 2 years, it could be so much worse.
We are so incredibly lucky to be here and be where we are and be able to do the things we can still do.
Amazing how often you hear that sort of sentiment from people who've been through unimaginable things like that.
Yeah.
They seem utterly extraordinary. What's it like being in a room with them?
Yeah.
The energy that those two have was something to behold. I mean, Claire, you could see it there, the humour that they tackle life with, and, everything that they've gone through is just so wonderful. They're so inclusive. They bring you in. They're so welcoming. And given, what life has thrown at them, I wouldn't have thought that would be, a given. But I just find that they're gorgeous girls as well, and they're so fun, and we're dancing around the house. We had the best time. They were singing with me, and you just think it could have all gone in a second. But that wonderful story was also, I was helped to make that package possible by Anthony Harwood, the producer on that. It was incredible. Dave, Claire, you're stunning. Dave is also raising money to compete at next year's Paralympic Games. If you'd like to help, please check out our website.
By the sounds of it, he'll be in every single event as well.
Yeah, he is.
We're off to a break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back. You're watching The Project.
Now, it seems like more than ever, guys, society needs serious journalists to hold the powerful media to account.
What? These nerds, they can't even hold on to their lunch money. Anyway, it's time for...
News. You guys get lunch money? All right, guys, the British Navy has called off its hunt for the Russian sub tracking its nuclear vessel after they realised it was just a farting whale. I've been telling my girlfriend it's the Russians for years.
Astronomers are calling for nations to ban advertising in space that can be seen from the ground, calling it a threat to the dark and quiet sky. What? First I get arrested for aiming laser pointers at planes. Now I can't advertise Cody coin up there? The sky's a nanny state.
It is. Now, in a move that's divided the tennis world, Australian Open chief Craig Tilley wants to build a statue of Novak Djokovic. Ooh. Now, if you're not on board, don't worry. The statue will be of Novak giving Tony Jones the finger. Unfortunately, the public won't get to see it, though, because it's going to be locked in a Melbourne hotel room.
The animal rights organisation PETA is calling to replace the American Groundhog Day tradition with a vegan weather reveal cake. Oh. Now, I don't know who this bloke Peter is, but he's lost the plot.
Get a grip.
A Sydney bus driver has refused to let a shirtless man on board, saying his lack of clothing was making other passengers feel uncomfortable. Now, I agree, mate, this isn't a Jetstar flight to Cairns. Have some respect, okay? But imagine the dark place you have to get to where a bus driver says, "Sorry, sir, you're making the man clipping his toenails and yelling conspiracy theories very uncomfortable."
According to recent research from South China Normal University, the best way to land a date is to ask your love interest for help with a task. But according to Nick Cody Normal University, a finger gun and a burnout will do the trick.
Sorry, I went to Nick Cody Normal University as well.
You went to Nick Cody Normal TAFE.
Okay, a museum dedicated to commemorating one of the biggest floods in Pennsylvania's history has closed due to flooding.
No.
So I actually don't know what irony is, but I think they're drowning in it. Also, don't close the museum now that it's flooded. Just reopen it as an aquarium. I know where you can find a fighting whale.
A 21-year-old British cage fighter has decided to stick with his notable name despite being called Taylor Swift. Great news to my wife watching at home. I got us tickets to Taylor Swift.
And finally, guys, China's first corgi police dog. That's right, corgi police dog. Fu Zha lost his end-of-year bonus, this is crazy, over workplace misconduct, which included sleeping on the job and urinating in his food bowl. Oh. He's since been offered an NRL contract. Now, I haven't looked this up, but I'm pretty sure the English translation of Fu Zha is Cody.
Oh.
Be back.
And that was...
News. Very strong, very strong. Wow. Now our next guests are titans of the hip-hop scene, and they're back with brand new music.
Trailblazers of Aussie hip-hop, Bliss and Esso have had us addicted to their sound for decades. With 7 studio albums, 3 number ones and 2 arias, they're one of the most successful urban acts in the country. Now, with another record on the way, they're taking their music to new heights.
Would you please welcome Bliss and Esso?
Great to have you here. Congratulations again on another stunning-looking album.
Thank you. Always.
This is it. So it's called The Moon brackets The Light Side. I also noticed that the latest track is called Party on the Moon.
It is.
Is this astronomy, astrology, or Pink Floyd? What's going on?
We're taking
What's the motivation
here? It's hey, look, we're taking them to the moon. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a journey into the wild world of Bliss and Esso.
Our last one was the sun. This is the moon. Maybe the eclipse next. Who
knows? There are a lot of planets out there, including ones that comedians often like to talk
yes,
about.
absolutely.
Yes.
Now, on the new single, guys, you sample Gangstar, right? Now, I'm always fascinated when people do samples. Do you just know when you hear something, you're like, that's going to be like a hook or something?
We grew up on 90s hip-hop, right? So it's like, again, Gangstar is such an instrumental, group, classic. No pun intended, instrumental group in hip-hop in the classic era. And DJ Premier is one of like the all-time greatest producers. So we love that beat. And we had this crazy idea to, hey, we're like, man, we should just try and make a song out of this beat and see if we can get it in front of Premier and see, and it's kind of an ode to hip-hop. It's about basically how it shaped us, and we grew up, on it, and all the different artists that influenced us. So we made the beat without...
creative first.
We got creative. We made we had to remake his beat, you know what I mean?
Right.
Figuring out how he originally sampled it, did it all in the same way. We made the song with no idea if we'd be able to get it cleared or not, and found a way to get in touch with him somehow and sent it to him.
Whoa.
It's like that moment you hit sender like, oh, will he like it? Please.
Oh, wow.
Came back straight away and he was like, this is dope. You can use it. And we were like, wow.
Could you do it with anything? Like, if, for example, if I played this to you, the project theme song.
Beautiful.
What could you do with that?
Good bit of drum and bass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Something on that.
Easy.
808s, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Now, Esso,
this?
I've actually sampled something of yours now. It's not music, but about 10 years ago, we've known each other for a while, I saw you put up something on Instagram that you did with your son. And I thought, if I have kids one day, I'm doing this. How grouse is this?
Oh.
You don't want to take them to a theme park, get the laundry basket out, chuck it on YouTube. This is a hit in my house, and it's all thanks to Esso.
And you don't have the money to go to Disneyland? Bang it on YouTube.
That's so
You're
fun.
Man, I forgot about that. That's so fun.
Do you know, it took me about 3 seconds to realise you weren't on a roller coaster.
I thought he was on a roller coaster with a
Yes.
laundry basket.
And being about to take him to family services.
The Dad Club is the best club.
Of course. Now, so I have known you for a long time. In 2013, we went to Afghanistan and did gigs for the troops over there.
Whoa.
Should we be considered war heroes, and why?
Wow, that's a hard-hitting question, Nick.
Like that,
I think so. I think so.
All right, see you Anzac Day.
That was a crazy trip. This guy was in the cockpit of the Hercules.
Yeah, I don't know whether you remember. We were in a Hercules plane. It's hot, it's sweaty. We've got helmets on, we've got bulletproof vests on, and we're taking turns going up to the cockpit and saying hello to the pilots. Wow. And they allow me to go up there, and I sit behind the two pilots. And one of them says, oh, grab that bit of paper there and draw a willy and sign it. Oh. And I was like, what? He was like, oh, it's for a mate of mine, don't worry about it. So I did it for him, and then he's like, get into the cockpit now, come and put the headphones on and rap the coordinates that they have to say out to all the bases. And there's Australians on these bases, and they'll be chuffed that, Bliss and Esso's up there.
In a war zone, you have to rap the coordinates.
In Afghanistan.
I said, do the coordinates rhyme? And he's like, just make them rhyme. So I was just like, 4, dash, 5, comma, 9.
Perfect. Put the project theme song under that. That's slaps.
Now, Esther, the last time you were on this television program, I'm glad that you did the thumbs up just then, because you were responsible for something quite disturbing with your thumb. Can you please do it for us once more? Here we go. The ultimate party trick. Here we go. Here we go. That's a spoiler, but here we go.
Right.
1, 2.
All right, you having a look here?
Yeah.
I'm going to plug it while I'm here. Bliss
we
and
go.
Esso, new album, The Moon. Pre-order now. BlissandEsso.com. It's a cracker. Ah!